Look at me, I have a backdrop. I wonder if we can change colors. That's so cool. Oh, yeah, I forgot I can do highlights on my live streams. I haven't tried that yet. I'm gonna do that soon. I'm not feeling green today, so let's see. Let's go back to this. Okay, how are y'all doing? Welcome to Recovery Wednesdays. Just kidding. I missed y'all yesterday. I'm so sorry, but I was so swamped with work stuff that and by the time I was done, I was like, I need to rest the rest of the night. So I missed y'all yesterday. But today we're going to talk about anxiety. So I have on Wednesdays my anxiety class. I haven't shared this necessarily publicly, I suppose, but any of my group classes that are listed on my website, we can do one-to-one sessions on. So if y'all are interested in that, you can go to my website and you can book a one-to-one with me for any of those classes. With the time slots that are available for the week. So just FYI. But today, y'all, I'm teaching from experience right now. I decided to share on anxiety in transition because live testimony, that's where I am right now. My anxiety was crazy yesterday. It's still with me today. So I figured what better time to revisit this. I've taught on this before. I've actually taught on different perspectives of the challenges of transition. Again, transition is a beautiful space of going from your old to the new. But it comes with challenges, of course, and a lot of them can be overwhelming. So I thought I'm going to share a little bit of testimony, live testimony. So yeah, get ready for this. Anxiety, what did I title this? Anxiety in transition. Actually, I don't think I put it in the title, but this is the title, Anxiety in Transition. So welcome everyone. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope your week has gone great. And if it hasn't, I hope this class blesses you. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. And gives you a little bit of encouragement for the rest of the week. So, in this class, thank you for the likes, y'all. I really appreciate the support. By the way, this is a support stream as well. I do these periodically, and I started doing these recently. So if you feel blessed by this channel or any of my teachings or encouragement, I'm in a space where I could use the support myself. I'm trying to get a vehicle for our family because our vehicle no longer runs. So if you feel led to donate, I have my information in the description. And I would truly, truly appreciate that. Oh, y'all are so awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, let's get into this. Anxiety. Anxiety is probably the most well-known and common affliction that we battle daily. Hi. Oh, thank you so much. I am from Texas. Where are you from? You're from India? Awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, so many of us, this is not a new subject. Many of us know anxiety very well because we wrestle with it on a daily basis. There are different stages. The worst being chronic and acute, meaning I am living in a state of anxiety and it has reached my physical realm. That is to say, I have physical manifestations of the anxiety. It can be anything from chronic migraines to gut issues to chronic pain, chronic fatigue, heart palpitations, and I've experienced all of them now, and I'm sure a lot of you have too. So the hope is that you get to a place where you can learn to manage it, and hopefully get to a place where you can combat it and conquer it. So that's why I teach this class, because I feel like it's a very accessible space that we've all experienced at some point in our lives. And so yeah, let's get into this. From Iran, awesome. Well, welcome, good to have you here. So as I teach with anxiety, this is how I describe it, because this is how I received the revelation for me when I was probably in one of the worst states in my battle with anxiety. And I was literally crying out to God because I was having the worst, and I mean the worst, heart issues, like panic attacks. It was so bad that it would literally cripple me. Okay, I still have these attacks now and again, especially, you know, during heightened states of stress. But so this is how I got this revelation. This is how I describe it. Anxiety is the pendulum that takes you to the heights of anger or the depths of depression. And the reason I describe it like this is because, and by the way, sorry about that noise in the background. That's my husband. He's packing some records. So anger is a place that some of us tend to go to when we get anxious, okay? And depression, or actually sadness, is another space that we can tend to go to when we begin to feel the anxiety. And the reason is because some of us internalize anxiety. That is the sadness, the depression. It turns into different states. Depression left unchecked will turn into despair. Despair left unchecked turns into despondency, and despondency left unchecked will turn into complete disassociation. So as you can see, these different stages of sadness, it's important for us to acknowledge where we are in them so that we can heal. Now, if you're someone who's prone to anger, you tend to, if you don't deal with your anger, it turns into resentment. Resentment undealt with will turn into bitterness. Bitterness unchecked will turn into apathy. And apathy unchecked will turn into complete disassociation, but in the opposite end. So where do you tend to go when you get anxious? Do you tend to project your anxiety onto other people when you get upset, when you get anxious and stressed? Do you tend to be, you know, impatient, curt, rude, you know, disrespectful, and just kind of like lash out at people because you're upset and you're stressed? Then you tend to go to anger, okay? And it's important to know this about yourself, because when you start to feel this rising up is when you want to address it. Now, if you're the opposite and you tend to be a little more introverted and keep it to yourself and you don't want to tell anybody what's going on, chances are you'll start to kind of pull inward, and people will notice that, and people will start asking you, what's wrong? Are you okay? Do you want, you know, do I have a question? Oh, really? Wow. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome to the family. I'm glad you subscribed. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with that. Friday's a good live stream for you if you want to talk more about the, you know, some of those kind of issues that we're dealing with in current events and around the world. So that would be a good one for you. Awesome. So yeah, if you just need to know for yourself I tend to get like this when I'm stressed and I'm anxious. And once you have that, you have a good foundation to work from when you get triggered, because you're going to get triggered. Anxiety is a harassing, it comes from the spirit of fear. Okay, so anxiety has a root too. So another way to understand about your own anxiety is, what are the things that you're afraid of? And getting to a space, this is the inner healing journey, y'all, but getting to a space where you're ready to kind of deal with those root issues of your fears, your core fears, and we all have them. Because once you get there, then you start having victory, and you start having a space where you can actually conquer your anxieties. And that's not to say you're not going to be triggered anymore, or you're not going to have moments of heightened stress or anything like that, because y'all, this is everyday life, and this world is broken, and stress is here all the time. But when you have the tools and the remedy, then you're more prepared to handle it, and handle it better each and every day. Okay, so I am on, yes, Telegram ID. I'm not sure what that means. Do you mean Instagram? Yes, there is Instagram for She's Restored. You can find me there if you're interested in that. And I do share a lot of teachings on there as well, if that's what you're interested in. So it's at She's Restored. That's the ID or the handle. So let's see. So I'm not going to get too deep into the core of it all, because today I really want to share on this message of transition. Oh, okay. No, I don't know what that is. I'm so sorry. I don't think we have those here. Telegram IDs. So let's see. So transition. Let's define this. Transition, again, is moving from one space to another. I personally have been in transition for quite some time. And this is, y'all, I move in silence, so I'm not going to reveal too much, but I'm going to say that some of us, I'm going to keep it very general. Some of us, God's doing a complete life overhaul for you. This is why the battle has been so intense. This is why the warfare has been so heightened. Because when God is taking you higher, you're going to be opposed. Okay? And this is getting into spiritual warfare 101. But so some of this is, and we must know the spirit realm so we have better understanding of why we're dealing with what we're dealing. But for some of us, because of where God's taking us, this complete life makeover, life overhaul, it's been even more intense, okay? For some of us, it's just you're switching jobs. That's a transition. Going from one job to another, that's a transition. Or you're moving from a house to a house down the road. That's a transition. But I'm talking about major life overhaul, okay, for some of us. Now, either way, there's anxiety with transition, because you're going, even though, let's say you got the job you wanted, there's still anxiety because you don't know what to expect. It's a new space, and that's a natural response, okay? So how are some ways that we can cope with the anxiety in transition? Number one, as I shared, I must know my default mode when it comes to anxiety. Again, and some of us vacillate between anger and depression, or sadness. I'll just say sadness and depression to keep it on the same level. Do I tend to get angry when I'm stressed? Because if I know that about myself, then I can catch myself when I'm being triggered. And that's the first step is, oh, you know what? I'm starting to do this. I'm starting to get impatient. I'm starting to kind of turn inward and not talk about it, you know, and just feeling the weight and keeping it to myself. You know, we want to get to a place of self-mastery, and it starts with self-awareness. So I have to be aware that this is how I go. Again, some of us vacillate. That's to say we lean between the two. Sometimes I'm angry, sometimes I'm sad. Okay, so I must know my default mode when it comes to being triggered by anxiety. That's your foundation, knowing that about yourself. Okay? Now, once I know this, then I have something to work with. Okay? Number 2, I must know my triggers. Okay, just quickly to define what's a trigger. A trigger is something that provokes or agitates or disturbs something in your soul realm that puts you in fight or flight, especially when we're talking about anxiety. It puts you in fight or flight mode. It presents a space of feeling unsafe, feeling worried, feeling scared. So I must know my triggers, okay? And the way we identify triggers is to essentially if you don't know your triggers, then you're probably not on the inner healing journey. So you need to come to this place where you're ready to know more about your core wounds, childhood trauma, you know, or life experiences that brought about this space of unrest within you. Okay, so I must know my triggers, and they're always connected. This is a little nugget here. They're always connected to your unhealed self. So in other words, the degree of my victory in combating and conquering anxiety is connected to how well I'm connected to my brokenness, if that makes sense. Okay, Amir, just so you know, like, please don't be disrespectful in the chat. There's kids that come to this channel, and this is a space to learn. So I'd appreciate you not saying those kind of comments. That's not kind or nice, okay? Please. Yeah. I'm just gonna call it, because I don't have a moderator for my channel, so I'm just gonna call it out, plain and simple. So kindly don't say disrespectful things like that in the chat. So number 3. They're always, as I said, number 2, they're always connected to my unhealed self. Now, even if you are on the inner healing journey, you're in recovery. So there's spaces that you're still growing, you're still learning, you're still recovering from some things. But here's where they're connected to is those triggers, okay? Hi, Skeeto, good to see you. I'm well, thank you. Hope you're doing well too. Okay, so let's see. Just quickly, number one, I must know my default mode when it comes to being triggered by anxiety. With that said, number two, I must know my triggers. And number three, I must be ready to go on the inner healing journey. Now, again, that's a lifelong process. You know, when I do my one-to-ones with clients, everyone's in a different space. Some people are ready to go full throttle into, you know, dealing with some core issues. Others are taking their time. It's really a personal journey, but as long as Okay, it's back. I'm just waiting for it to reboot. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it's the internet. Yeah, speak positive affirmations, prayer, laughter, focus on the future, and expect good things. Okay, even if this is not natural for you. Again, some of us have to practice this. It's like riding a bike for the first time. You don't know what you're doing, but you have to practice so you can know how to do this. So you might have to force yourself at first, but remember, God's plan for you is awesome. It's better than you could plan for yourself. And yes, sometimes we have to go through some stuff. Sometimes we're stubborn and God needs to, let us struggle a little bit so that we can get where he wants us to go. And whatever it is for you, you've got this. So I hope this blessed y'all. Hi, good to see y'all. Welcome. I hope this blessed y'all, and I hope that especially those of you that God is really doing a life overhaul for you, as he is for me and my family. You got this, and it's worth it. And I'm going to say this right now, it's worth it. Everything I've gone through in this season of transition, it's worth it. Do you know why? For me, because I believe in the promises of the Lord, and in every season that I've been in, especially the darkest ones, he has always, always, always been there, and he's always provided, and he's always led me to peace, joy, love, and these are the fruit of the Spirit. Okay, a lot of times I've actually had people ask me, how can you be so positive when you're going through what you're going through? It's because the Lord's grace upon me, he gives me that strength spiritually to handle what I'm going through, and I trust him, and I know he's leading me to my promised land, and he's leading a lot of y'all too. So take heart, have a great rest of the day. I'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing, for Therapy Thursdays, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.